layer, there's a legal authorized representative to sign the whatever. To sign off all the budgets, all the things. As soon as you have a layer, you have a pick, and it's unique to you for the whole program, for the whole framework, for the whole period. Now, why I'm emphasizing this academic, non-academic thing? Because the interaction, the European Union has been putting more and more emphasis on the interaction between the academic and the non-academic sector, for a number of reasons. The academic sector, okay, we do research, but as I was saying, if you want to do dissemination, if you want to do things that go beyond those things, then you need to engage also with the non-academic sector. So in some of my projects, I inserted kind of media websites, media companies, saying that we are also taking advantage of media to disseminate. Or if you have to train someone, we send somebody into a media organization, and the person is going to learn how to use research skills for non-academic purposes. That could be consultancy. That could be the thing. The other thing is also to, if you have a PhD, where would you work? Once you finish your PhD, what is the field?
For improving our research opportunity.
Yeah, more or less. If you have a PhD, okay, you do your PhD. After your PhD,
I would like to go somewhere to increase my level, to find this out and to get my language.
yes, but you are staying in research.
Yes.
That's the thing. That's the key thing. If you have a PhD, you normally stay in research. Now,
Actually, when I wanted to get a PhD, I wanted to stay in research.
yes, but a PhD is not like, in the airport, it's like no turning back after this point.
Yes.
After a PhD, you can also turn back and go somewhere else.
Yes.
But the thing is that we don't think about this. We think that there's only one way, and that's the way forward with the PhD. And then what happens once you have too many people with a PhD, and the number of jobs for people with a PhD is too low. To give an example, in Germany, if you have a PhD, and you don't work in academia, it's actually a bad thing. Well, it's not a bad thing, but it's like, then if you get a job in the public administration, you have to get a salary which is kind of commensurate to the level of education. So if you have an MA, you get this salary. If you get a PhD, you get this salary. Now, if for this position you don't need somebody with a PhD, you will not get somebody with a PhD, because it means you can take an MA, and you can pay him or her at an MA level. If you take a PhD, it's actually an additional cost, but it's not necessarily an additional advantage. Of course, it's nice to have a doctor working there. But the thing is, if you don't need a doctor, if it is an administrative, if this is somebody, if it's a manager, why need a manager with a PhD if you have to pay more?
Because it's more clear.
Actually, do you know what is PhD? What PhD stands for?
Yes.
What is? No, it's permanent head disorder. PhD brings you into a certain direction, into a certain way of thinking. So it brings you very, very strong, brings you very strong skills in a certain thing, but not necessarily ever, whatever. So clever is a very general thing, saying yes, definitely you'll be more.
I'm joking, of course.
No, yeah, of course, but just, your joke is good too. It brings more educated, but in the end, it doesn't mean that you are going to move better in the job market. And we have, and there is a gap between people being very educated and not being able to. Even in the UK, they would say there is no job market for PhD people. Of course, if you have a PhD in chemistry and you're doing experimental, companies might be interested, but that's not always the case, and not everywhere. Not all companies have a research unit. Not all companies need to understand things to a certain level. So to create, to kind of bridge the gap a bit between the educational sector and the other sectors, then the idea is to include more and more non-academic partners. That now they also be, kind of active part of the consortium. So I've been able to include, I mean, what I've done, I include like academic publishers, there are companies. I say, okay, what happens if you want to open, I mean, if you want to have, not to work for a university, but to be able to select university publications. So you can have your book series, you know, the editorship. What if you want to use your kind of analytical skills to do not research, but to do analytical pieces on policies, or what if you want to be a science journalist? What if you want to be in consultancy? For all those things, being clever is a good thing. And if you specialize in a certain field. But there is, I mean, when I was starting and I was looking for private partners, I went to colleagues and I say, I need to know anyone. So do you have any private partners that I can include in an application? And I say, yes, I have a foundation. I mean, a foundation is not necessarily a private partner. Foundation will be public, will be private, but it's definitely not something I mean, it's not a company. It's not a commercial organization. And the scheme requires that, I mean, being in a foundation is like you are funding science. So you're not moving from your sector. So by the same token, I mean, a private university is not a private partner, it's still a university. That's why they changed into academic and non-academic. So trying to build interaction between the academic and non-academic sector is a way to kind of bring those two sectors together. Now, in some cases, it already exists. If you have, especially people working in neuroscience, people working in medicines, you have this research and then you have commercialization. So if you do a very good discovery, then you'll be able to make lots of money because you open your own company, you commercialize the product, and you go on. And that's why intellectual property in the European, with those things is very, very complicated to manage. But if you are in other sciences that have no traditional interactions, then what are you going to do? And plus, if you want to move from one field to a field which is not traditional, now they're funding things, hoping that one day, at some point, we will be able to construct interaction also. They will be able to foster interaction also with other sectors, with other things. So that's the main reason behind this thing. Now, because we are lucky and we finished. I finished this section a bit earlier. What we could do is, if you have any questions at this point, just. No, it's coming.
Yes. And also,
yeah. Okay, so do you have any questions? Yeah.
Maybe it's not really related to this session, the question, but may I ask about more practical help? How to find consortium, how to define the real partners, or are we going to discuss all these events later on? Because it's this is the major part of before starting writing the project. You need to find the partners, and as far as we know, there are some informally. Everybody knows that there are some consortia which are getting funds all the time, and even if you if you create a new consortia, if there are not the partners who are appreciated by EC, you will never get the funds. So we need your advice in this direction: how to find appropriate partner and appropriate consortia. Or if you are covering this section later on later sessions later.
Okay, which prompts a question: how many of you have read the program?
Yes, I read.
It's later. Okay.
1, 2. I never read programs, so don't worry. I'm not. But the thing is, if you read the program, you have the answer to this question.
Yes, there is.
Okay, sorry.
Which is not. Which is not to say you, but I'm as bad as you are because I never read programs anyway. So, So the thing is also, this question prompts me to say, let's go faster to here, which means there is be more space for kind of practical things. I mean, the thing was this first. I mean, I'm trying to put practical things in between the lines and the things. And you're also welcome to ask me during coffee breaks and during the things. And because this session is being recorded, then our interest is to have it more kind of diplomatic as possible. But if you have something very, very specific that you need to know, you can also ask me. So I've been doing some work about putting everything in a nice frame so that I wouldn't offend anyone who's watching the video afterwards. So we have the specificity of EU funding. Now, EU funding is huge. Okay, it's not just research funding. Last time I watched, it was not some time ago. There were companies that actually would gather intelligence on EU funding, put everything into a book, and sell the book at 350 euros, just to say how to understand EU funding. Now, this information is available for free, so it's not that you have to buy. But what I understand is that because it's very complicated to get through all the things, then I also understand that there are some mediators gathering information for you, collecting information for you, and then bringing it in. It's no more or less than a tourist guide. When you go somewhere, you can either gather information from friends and from websites, or you buy a tourist guide and there's a shortcut to everything. Of course, it's what they think about the country, so that's why I'm against that. But they collect information for you, and they want to get paid. And that's the same thing. Before going here, so if we go to the Bible, this is, if you are a researcher and you're looking for funding, this is your Bible. That's the research participant book. Okay? How many of you have been to this website before? Okay, that's good. Wow. So I assume you already know of it. Now, if you go to funding opportunities, you will see that, I mean, that's mostly Horizon 2020. You've been here, and you can actually select. And a good thing that the EU has been doing is that before, in FP7, the calls will be coming out, I mean, one after the other. Whereas now they already announce when whatever call is coming. So you're going to know even 2 years in advance that in May 2018, we're going to have this deadline. This gives you time not only to prepare, but actually to strategically plan them. Because if you have only one team, and the team can only work on one application at a time, knowing that there is a deadline in April and a deadline in May, means you have to choose. Or you have to find another consultant and say, okay, I write this one and you write that one. Whereas if you don't know when the deadline is coming, then you just go for the one and then to the next one, and then you find yourself that you won't be able to do this. This was done to increase competition. Actually, competition is now at a level which is beyond everything, I mean, beyond acceptability. But competition, I mean, they've done a very good job in doing this. Now, there are some very specific actions that we might want to look at. So, how many of you are familiar with Marie Curie actions? Have you applied?